There are more UFO sightings than ever before.
Strange lights. Alien life. A UFO.
What lies behind this increasing number of reports?
What the is that?
4 expert UFO investigators are hunting down the truth. Maureen Ellsbury is a respected UFO journalist.
I've studied literally thousands of cases, and most have rational explanations.
Mike Barra is an experienced aeronautics engineer.
Before I believe in flying saucers, I'm going to need hard physical evidence.
The other 2 investigators believe that aliens are already here. Daryl Sims is a private investigator and ex-CIA.
I was abducted by aliens. I think they're a force for evil.
And Stephen Jones claims to have had contact with extraterrestrials.
ETs are walking down the main street right now.
In this investigation,
What I would like to find is a UFO.
multiple UFO sightings over Lake Michigan,
Wow, all of you.
and extraterrestrial home invasions.
There were 2 big black eyes staring down at me.
I want to know who or what these things are.
I need to get some fresh air.
Lead to claims of an underwater alien base. Lake Michigan. Over the last 60 years, there has been ever-increasing UFO sightings over the lake. Now, the 4 leading UFO investigators are in town to discover whether aliens are behind this UFO activity and to gather evidence from local residents. UFO journalist Maureen Ellsbury has background information on the case.
So something really mysterious is going on both in and around Lake Michigan. Hundreds of people are sighting strange objects, and now it's widely becoming known as a UFO hotspot.
So how long has it been going on?
Well, in 1966, President Gerald Ford, who was then a Michigan congressman, asked for a congressional inquiry into sightings around southern Michigan.
Okay, interesting. Anything else since then?
Yeah, in 1994, hundreds of people called into 911 to report strange red and green triangles flying over the lake.
911, what is the emergency?
There is a huge line of lights going across the sky.
There's like something in the sky that's really crazy.
2 extremely bright lights look like balls of flame.
There's also been really terrifying events going on here. Over 200 ships and 40 planes have mysteriously disappeared since World War II. Look at this map. Each one of these red dots represents either a crashed plane or a sunken ship.
Wow. Okay, so what's the evidence that any of this is connected to UFO activity in Lake Michigan?
UFOs have approached aircraft before and attacked them. Maybe that's how some of these airplanes disappeared.
You know, Lake Michigan is a hot spot, but if there is an ET presence, I don't believe it is malevolent, and I don't believe that they're attacking our craft. But there is something going on there, so we've got to start investigating.
I agree, we need to get down to the lake. Do we have any witnesses there?
Yep, I've got them all lined up.
To gather evidence, Maureen has invited local residents from the shores of Lake Michigan to a meeting.
So the reason we're in Michigan is because we are currently investigating sightings in this area. I'd like to know who has actually seen a UFO or experienced any sort of extraterrestrial activity. Wow, all of you. How about you? What have you seen?
My daughter and I were doing constellations, and I got out the binoculars, and I looked through, and I saw a black triangle clearly.
Please tell me you got pictures or you got film or you got something.
We did not.
Sir, what about you in the hat?
I saw these 3 very bright, like, round lights. I'd say they were at least 5 times brighter than any star, and they all lined up, and then they stopped, and then streaked north.
Any chance it was fireflies a 1.5 foot away from the car? And
Not a
mistook
chance.
it? Okay.
You know, if I thought there was a 1% chance of it being a mistaken, identity of something else, I would have never mentioned it again.
Okay.
I see this rounded, cornered, white, brilliant white triangle. Floats over us, and then we're looking right smack up at it. It's less than 100 feet off the ground. And so, my camera's around my neck. So I take the lens cap off. I take a picture.
Tell me the pictures came out.
Pictures turned out really well. Turned out excellent.
Okay, great.
So you've got photographs and multiple witnesses?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, we'd love to talk more with you.
The following morning, the investigators head to Patty Donahue's home to examine her photographs of the triangular-shaped lights.
The fact that Patty says she's got physical evidence makes her case intriguing to me. I think it's worth a look.
Hey, Patty.
Hi, how are you?
How you doing?
Hi there.
This is my daughter, Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer. Mike, did you also see this?
I did.
Oh, okay, great, great. So I guess what we would like to do first is get straight into where you were, what you saw, and just describe it to us.
Okay, right out here in the yard. I'll take you out here where I first noticed it.
All right.
That evening, I was taking pictures of the full moon, and out of the west over here, I saw the most beautiful white glowing triangle.
Was it beyond the tree line when you first saw it, or
yes,
closer than that?
On the woods that go back
the
further.
ones away in the back there.
Way in the back, yep.
Is that Lake Michigan in that direction?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
As it got closer to the road, I'm looking and I'm like, oh, I need a witness. And I just say, Jennifer, can you come out here a minute?
So Jennifer, I gotta ask, what was going through your head?
I was just like, it's a triangle, Mom. It's a triangle.
Was you scared?
I was terrified, and I didn't see it like she saw it.
Why was you scared?
It was like, to me, it was making like this awful, like loud in my ears, screaming.
She was just saying, oh, it's so loud, and I'm looking at her going, you can barely hear it.
So you weren't hearing what she was hearing?
No.
While Jennifer was shaking with fear, her mother, Patty, had an opposite emotional response to the UFO.
It's floating, she's covering her ears, and all of a sudden I start laughing. And I'm feeling this calm, and this love, and this peace that I've never felt in my life before.
I've had contact experiences for 50 years. This overwhelming love, this feeling of calmness and euphoria. I recognize what you're saying there.
But you were scared.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I wasn't scared at first until it was getting closer, and the noise scared me more than anything, I think.
So it was just floating there, making noise or not making noise.
Right. And then I go, duh, my camera's around my neck. It's right over me, and click, click.
So we can look at those.
Sure can.
Let's go do that.
For aeronautics engineer Mike, emotional accounts are not enough. He needs hard physical evidence.
Well, you know, I like Patty as a person a lot, but what I'm thinking at this point is it'll be cool if we can either confirm or eliminate some of those photographs, just confirm whether or not there's something anomalous or whether it's something perfectly explainable. Okay, Patty, so the first thing I want to tell you is that I'm not here, none of us are here to pass any judgment on your sighting or anything. What we're trying to do is to consider possibilities and eliminate things that it can't be. Right. And that's the process we're going to work through here. Let's go on and look at the picture.
This is a triangle.
Okay.
This one went back and forth across the road.
Interesting.
Wow.
It's a bit weird.
Four expert investigators are by the shores of Lake Michigan, where multiple UFOs have been sighted.
Wow, all of you.
Local witness Patty Donahue was entranced by her UFO encounter.
I'm feeling this peace that I've never felt before.
But her daughter Jennifer had a very different reaction.
I was covering my ears, screaming.
Now, aeronautics engineer Mike Barra is examining photographs that Patty took of a triangular UFO.
It's a bit weird. What's interesting about that is that the foreground's not blurry, which means the object is definitely farther away, and it's moving fairly rapidly, and it's not because of the movement of the camera. I have an idea what those triangular shapes might be. There is an object called the Chinese lantern, which is basically a lantern that floats through the air that can, under certain conditions, be mistaken for a UFO. And if you're willing to cooperate with us, I'd like to test it out a little bit later. Great.
The investigators wait until nightfall to start Mike's Chinese lantern test.
Okay, Patty, what we're going to do here tonight is run a little experiment. I'm going to send Stephen and Maureen over across the road, over into the field where you saw the white triangle object coming from. They're going to launch off a few of these lanterns in a cluster. You guys have your flashlights and your walkie-talkie, right?
Right here.
Okay, let's go to it.
All right.
You guys getting over there yet? We're way in the field.
So go ahead and get set up, and let's put 3 of them up.
Sounds good.
We're lighting up the first one.
Okay. Holding the base. Okay. Don't burn yourself. There we go.
Yeah, just be a moment, Mike.
All right. So we're ready.
Okay, on 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Right, they've gone.
That's good. Look at that. It's forming up in a C.
Despite the lanterns forming a triangle, Patty may not be convinced.
So, Patty, what do you think?
The lantern was moving much faster than the triangle.
Okay.
The coloring was off, and the triangle made sound where the lantern made no sound.
Okay.
So, did it look like anything? UFO?
I mean, it was an impressive display. There's no question about that, and I can see why a lot of people mistake them for some sort of object from a distance anyway, but Patty says it's not what she saw that night.
It had a triangle shape, but it wasn't the right triangle shape.
Early the next morning, Stephen and Daryl call on Patty.
I'm ready to go.
Okay. Lady, come on, come on.
Okay.
Ex-CIA operative Daryl Sims wants to examine the location and find out if the UFO left any evidence behind when it passed over the house.
I need to know, is this the exact spot you were standing where it was closest to you, above you? Is this the area?
It's close, yes.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and do some testing. I want to check this area, and I'm going to go through this whole area and see if I can find something.
Okay, sounds good.
Daryl uses a Geiger counter to detect levels of radiation that are higher than normal. He believes that UFOs become radioactive when they are in space, and that they leave traces where they come into close contact with the Earth.
Normal background radiation will be just a click, click, click. But boy, when that radiation hits, you'll hear click, 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 click. That's interesting. Normal. What I'm testing for is residual radiation, and I'm finding a radioactive trace here. It's interesting that this is the spot that she points out where the UFO came over is closest to her. Wow. Okay, interesting. Found 3 traces of radiation, one where you were standing, and one of them at the edge of the house out here about where you pointed. And it's in line with those 2 trees up there and this one. And it seems to be leading that direction. When it disappeared, where was it in that tree line?
See where the long blue break in the clouds is with the blue sky? I'd say about there.
Patty saw the UFO coming from the direction of Lake Michigan, and then disappear into the trees behind her house. Daryl is developing a theory about where the UFO could be hiding.
If I were going to hide in a UFO and I didn't want anybody to see me after I made myself completely known to the world in the air, but I wanted to get out of Dodge and not let everybody know where I was at, I'd want to find a body of water to hide. UFOs seem to like water simply because it's a great place to park. Some people say it's space, but if you're already here, it's probably underwater. My next question to you, young lady, is there a body of water back there?
Yes, there is.
The alien investigators are by the shores of UFO hotspot Lake Michigan, where witness Patty Donahue has shown them pictures of a UFO over her house.
Wow. It's a bit weird.
A Chinese lantern test failed to convince her of a rational explanation.
It wasn't the right triangle shape.
But now, private investigator Daryl Sims has uncovered traces of radiation.
Wow.
That could point to the hiding place of a UFO.
Is there a body of water back there?
Yes, there is.
I want to get out there because this is what we do. If there's evidence or possibility of evidence, we want to know. We just want to be sure. That's all. So we're going to get some boots on, get out there in the mud and water and see if we can find anything else.
Okay.
The two investigators head into the woods, where Daryl suspects there could be concealed UFOs hiding in the waterways.
This is a bog.
So what you're suggesting then is if we follow this to a deeper, wider river, we find these UFOs.
Water surrounds this whole area. They're getting here somehow. Here you go. This has got to be the creek.
Daryl and Stephen have uncovered a river that flows directly into the UFO hotspot, Lake Michigan.
This is exactly what I expected. Your smaller water, smaller tributaries goes larger. The larger is going to go to the bigger. It's eventually going to end up in the lake. UFOs in the Amazon, in Puerto Rico, and other places have used waterways, ocean, and other places to hide themselves, conceal themselves until they come out and make their assault upon humanity. And it bothers me that Patty may be in line for the same treatment that other people have experienced.
Daryl, your brushstrokes, as usual, are too sweeping. The majority of experienced contact around the world is positive.
They may have discovered what they believe to be a UFO escape route back to Lake Michigan. But Daryl and Stephen disagree over why aliens may be visiting Patty's house.
I think Stephen's being naive about this whole matter. The aliens aren't here to fix the planet, fix the ozone hole, or do anything else. The aliens are doing some pretty terrible things to people, and the bottom line is, it leaves people's lives in chaos.
I've been having ET contact all of my life, and although it's been challenging, it's always been very positive. I believe the ETs are here to help us, to assist us in the next stage of our evolution. The UFOs and their pilots are here for the benefit of mankind, and Patty should not be worrying about her contact. She should be embracing it. And you speak to her, my friend, and you'll find out that's how she feels.
Her daughter's standing there saying, "I'm terrified." Do you get it?
Daryl, you know this isn't personal between you and me. We have one focus, both of us, and that is to look after these experiences. So
exactly.
you and me, buddy,
That's it.
Let's go and help this lady.
Let's do it.
Meanwhile, back at the house, Maureen is with Patty's eldest daughter, Jenny, who had a very different reaction to the UFO sighting.
So, Jenny, one thing that really stuck out to me when you and your mom were sharing your story is that you were terrified. I mean, why do you think that you guys had that different perspective?
I don't know, like, the way that she saw it, I feel like they were almost like, not manipulating, but like putting like an all good like image in her head, and I feel like, I don't know if it was really intended for me to see.
So you see this with your mother. What happened after that?
I just feel like that first sighting like really invited everything in to the house.
Maureen is uncovering evidence that the alien has not only flown over the house, but has invaded their home.
I started hearing things in my room, and just one night felt like something was right next to me, heard something, and there were just these like two big black eyes staring at me, staring down at me. They were like about that big.
Wow.
It was just staring at me.
It looks like my instincts about Jenny were dead on. While I can't prove that what she's seen are extraterrestrial beings, what I can say is she's clearly terrified. And this always seems to happen to her this time that UFOs have been spotted over the house.
With the revelation that aliens may have actually invaded the house, Maureen calls an urgent meeting between the investigators and the family. She wants to know if Jennifer's sister Jessica has also witnessed any alien activity in their home.
Have you experienced anything, Jessica?
Yeah, I have. One night, I was gonna go to bed, so I came out of the bathroom, and I saw this small figure, maybe about like this tall, walk out of my sister's bedroom, and it stopped at the end of the hallway and kind of looked at me. And it was glowing, kind of, like it was producing its own light a little bit.
What did it look like?
It was hooded, like it was in a robe.
So could you see its face, or was the hood over its face?
The hood was over its face.
So you couldn't see its face at all?
No, but I knew it was watching me.
How did you feel at that moment?
It scared me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I ran into my room, and I just laid in my bed, and then I saw something peek in around my doorway. And
same sort of height as the little
a little
person?
bit taller. It was a little bit taller.
So you don't think it was the same E.T. you saw a minute ago?
It wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't robed or anything.
Oh, so you must have seen its face this time?
Yeah.
The alien investigators are examining sightings of UFOs around the shores of Lake Michigan.
Wow, it's a bit weird.
Patty Donahue was entranced when she saw a UFO over her house.
I'm feeling this peace that I've never felt before.
But her daughter Jennifer was terrified by the encounter and then discovered aliens in their home.
I was screaming.
Now, her sister Jessica has revealed she's seen aliens in the house, too.
So you must have seen its face then?
Yeah.
What did it look like?
It was just like the eyes were a little bigger than normal. Like nothing drastically big or anything though. It didn't have quite like a nose like we would. That was different about it. And he had 3 fingers, and it didn't have lips or anything.
But you felt it was looking at you?
Mm-hmm. It was looking at me.
Investigator Daryl Sims claims to have been abducted himself and immediately recognizes the type of alien that Jessica has seen.
What Jessica's describing as a small gray alien, they're the least intelligent of all the alien kind, and they can really be mean.
Daryl wants to see if there's any evidence of alien presence left in the girls' rooms.
This is my room.
Now, tell me very briefly where the entity was at and what happened in this room.
All right, so I was facing the door, and it just peeked in from right around the door frame, and then came right on in and then hid right over near where you're standing.
Okay. This is a special ultraviolet light that's used to detect the presence of an alien. The alien leaves a sweat-like material. Okay. Well, I don't see any evidence of him recently. And let me check over here next to your bed, if you don't mind. What is that?
It's a baseball bat.
You felt like you needed something like that?
Well, after I saw that little figure in my room is when I really think I got it out.
You feel like this helps comfort you?
It just makes me feel safe when I have it by my bed.
It's good for you, at least in that respect.
Yeah.
Okay. Next time you see something in here, if you want to try to defend yourself, get a bigger bat. This is not much. But the fact is, in most cases, stuff like this is really not effective. Really. Believe it or not, the things that are effective against these entities are things that are mental. And think of something really funny, really interesting in your head, and just repeat it over and over and over and over to the point it's stupid and funny. And they'll short circuit. They can't figure out what you're doing. One of the ladies that I know is a full-grown woman, reached up, put her arm around the little guy. He was like, oh my gosh. She grabbed his eye cover and tore it off. That's the weirdest thing in the world, but it works all the time. It's real easy. Take my word for that. I know.
I haven't really told anyone about any of my experiences before.
I've only told a few of our close family friends, and now everybody gets to know.
I don't think rip the eyes off of an alien's face, no.
The next day, the team report back to Patty with their findings.
All I can say is things seem to be happening to you and your family that don't happen to most people and most families.
I can't account for a lot of the things that have happened to you. I can't rationally explain any of it. But the thing that really interests me is we're investigating strange phenomena around Lake Michigan. And now that we've learned that your house is connected to the lake, it fits right in. And I think there is a definite connection there.
The close proximity to Lake Michigan is no coincidence.
In your experiences, since the daughters are not the same, please watch out for them.
I definitely will, and I appreciate each and every one of your help, all the information you've given me, and hopefully we can find the answers soon. I found it fascinating that the team felt that there may be a connection between my sightings, my daughter's sightings, and possible UFOs in Lake Michigan. There's been a lot of sightings over the lake over the years. There's been a lot of talk about maybe a base. After everything I've experienced, anything's possible.
The investigators follow the river from Patty's house to the shores of Lake Michigan, where hundreds of UFOs have been sighted and numerous ships and planes mysteriously disappeared.
So Lake Michigan.
Wow, are we sure this is a lake? It looks more like an ocean to me. Just imagine how many boats are sunk out there and planes crashed.
Why are they crashed?
It's a good question.
Maureen has made contact with Phil Cava, who, like Patty, has had numerous sightings of UFOs over Lake Michigan.
Over the years, I've come out driving by the lake, and I would see saucer-shaped craft, silver spheres coming out from the lake. And they would just go, you know, off until you couldn't see them anymore most of the time, heading out somewhere to the west out there.
More recently, Phil has seen craft come from the lake directly towards his home. The investigators head to Phil's house.
All right, guys, let's get out the info. Let's do it. Scene of the crime, huh?
Yeah, a couple weeks back, I walked out here. It was a beautiful, clear day. And if you look out across the street, just above those trees, there was a silver saucer-shaped craft just hovering there, and took off to the west, like a majority of the sightings I've had over the years in this area. It seems like they're either coming from the lake or going to the lake.
Okay, so it's definitely the west, towards the lake, towards Lake Michigan.
Yep, yep.
When you say the majority of my sightings, you know, end up coming to or from the lake, how many are we talking about?
Honestly,
I mean, 10, 20, 30, 100?
Dozens.
And these are what you experience as craft, you're saying?
I'm
these are
seeing
vehicles.
physical craft.
Okay.
Are the events getting more rapid, more current? Is it worse, bad, good? What is it? Things have really started to pick up for us. Sightings with me, kids, the wife, and we had some real close encounters in the house here.
Patty Donahue witnessed UFOs flying over her house from Lake Michigan.
It was a triangle.
Is that Lake Michigan in that direction?
Yes.
Her daughters reveal an alien home invasion.
It was looking at you?
Eyewitness Phil has had multiple sightings of UFOs too.
I would see saucer-shaped craft coming out from the lake.
And now he has just revealed that aliens have entered his house too.
We had some real close encounters in the house here. This is the first time I have any conscious recollection of seeing an actual being.
So this all happened in this house?
Yep, absolutely, right in my bedroom.
Do you mind taking us there?
Nope, absolutely not. We can show you right where it happened.
What do you want to do?
Come on, go ahead on in. After you, folks.
Thank you. So what exactly happened in here?
Okay, I was lying in bed, middle of the night. I woke up, and I was lying right here. My wife was sleeping over there.
and hovering over the foot of our bed, about right here, there was a entity hanging out of midair, which appeared to be very intently focusing on my wife. And I screamed, "Out!" and it looked at me, and then it just pulled itself back, and it was gone.
Okay, I gotta ask you this. Could this have simply been a dream?
Nope. I was awake. I was awake and saw it.
UFO journalist Maureen has covered many stories of alien encounters, but she is shocked by what she is hearing.
The story's pretty bizarre, but he's got a very descriptive depiction of this entity, which is literally straight out of my nightmares.
But ex-CIA operative Daryl believes he can unlock more of Phil's story using hypnosis.
Sometimes pieces of our memory or information, particularly in UFO events, are separate. And there are some loose ends for me. So what I would like to do is to look at your case from a hypnotherapy point of view, because there's some parts that are missing. We want to see if we can put those together, or if there's something else going on. And if that's okay with everybody, I'd like to go ahead and do that. If you would give us some few moments together.
Thanks,
Sounds
Tom.
good. Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Thank you.
I want you to relax completely and totally. Allow your eyes to close. As your eyes completely close, I want you to allow the relaxation that you can possibly imagine to focus right completely upon your eyelids, so that your eyelids get so heavy and so relaxed that they just won't work. I'm going to pick up your hand, and I want you to leave your hand as heavy as just like a limp dish rag. Heavy, relaxed, totally. Sleep. That night, exact same state of mind, and you sense something in the room. That's exactly what happened. The UFOs and the things that you've been seeing in your life, do you have any sense at all where those UFOs are coming from?
I feel a sense, a pull towards
Where?
the west, towards Lake.
The what?
Lake Michigan.
Lake Michigan.
Phil's confirmed that UFOs are coming from Lake Michigan. But Daryl's anxious to find out if the aliens Phil saw are the same as the ones who invaded Patty's home.
Patty's children are seeing gray aliens. Where there are gray aliens, there's usually a higher intelligent alien running the show. What we need to find out now is what kind of entity Phil's seeing. What I'd like you to do now is, if you see anything here that you can assemble that represents what you saw, anything that you see that might be similar, and if it isn't, then that's okay too.
If you were able to look directly into that creature's eyes, what would they look like?
I want to say similar to this shape, but without the pupils. I guess that would be about the closest one right there. This is something that looks very much like the praying mantis things I've seen. It was evil. The blackness in its eyes.
You mentioned one of the things when I asked you in there about, do you have any sense of where some of this stuff is coming from? You said
Michigan.
Lake Michigan. So we're wondering if we find anything, an underwater base, anything like that, and if something like that is there and UFOs are frequenting that place, my suspicion is that that's going to be closest to what's running the craft.
Of the many aliens Daryl has encountered, the mantis is amongst the most feared.
Phil has identified his entity as a mantis. The mantis has been responsible for bringing down aircraft. So I characterize them as extremely intelligent, very manipulative, and dangerous. Stephen is used to the pleasant side of the alien experience. I think Stephen's going to get the surprise of his life.
I just don't want these beings to be in Lake Michigan. This disturbs me. I don't know why. These beings, I don't know. I don't want to say they scare me. I don't want to say that.
but it's challenging something within me.
Just breathe.
This is not the ET that I believe that I've... You know, I just want you to turn that picture away. I don't want to look at it. Cover it up. I don't know where all this is coming from. I don't know where it's coming from.
Deep breath.
I need to get some fresh air.
Anybody that thinks the UFO phenomenon is a funny little game and that this is all okay, it isn't. The bottom line is that it's just evil.
So I think Stephen's really upset because, you know, he believes that all extraterrestrial life is here for good and healing and to take care of people. And this has challenged the way he looks at it. I think that what was projected on that piece of paper was bad, evil, you know, something hit him where it wasn't right. And so I think his mind was kind of blown and he isn't willing to face that, so he walked out.
I had to walk out because I didn't want to remain in that moment anymore. I just had to come out here and get some fresh air. I just felt it staring at me and I wanted to get away from it. ET contact, on the whole, is a good thing for humankind. What Phil has tuned into here, this mantis, it's something that I've totally rejected. I'm literally terrified.
Government investigations into mysterious shipping and aircraft losses.
Each one of these red dots is either a crashed plane or a sunken ship.
Increased sightings of UFOs in and around Lake Michigan.
Wow, all of you.
New photographic evidence.
It's a bit weird.
Eyewitness accounts.
I was covering my ears, screaming.
And claims of alien home invasion.
Looks like the praying mantis things I've seen.
All point to a possible mantis alien base below the surface of Lake Michigan. The investigators regroup to discuss their next move.
So now that we know where Phil had his sightings, it's interesting to look at this. This is all the ships that have gone missing that nobody knows where they are. And Phil's sighting was right here, and that's directly in that path.
Yeah, but look at this. Notice the triangle. This is the Michigan Triangle. I need to dive in that place.
You're going to go diving?
Why not?
Why? I mean, why risk it? What do you think you're going to find?
What we've talked about is UFOs and the fact they all seem to be coming from this area. If they're coming from the lake or around the lake, it's highly likely they're coming from underwater. If that's true, then there may be a base there.
Next morning, the team assembles at Pentwater Harbor on the shores of Lake Michigan. A local diving company has agreed to take Daryl out to the location on the lake where Phil saw the UFO craft emerge.
Zip me up.
Oh, cowboy, you look all suited up. So, Daryl, what do you think you're going to find down here?
I'd love to find a UFO laying on that bottom of that water.
Daryl, I'm slightly concerned. I mean, the water is so choppy and it's pretty murky. I'm not even sure how far in front of your face you're going to be able to see here. You're going to have to get up close and personal.
Daryl has no idea what lies below the boat, but 30 feet down, a shape starts to emerge. With visibility so low, it's tough to pinpoint what the structure is. But on closer inspection, it appears the structure could be one of the lost ships and not an underwater UFO base. An hour later, Daryl emerges with news.
Yep, I'll spin around backwards. Perfect. Right.
Well, so what's the verdict? Did you see anything down there?
There's a wreck down there. All the gears and everything laying around all over the place. But no UFOs. That's what I was really looking for.
After gathering evidence from multiple witnesses around the shores of Lake Michigan, the UFO investigators sum up the case.
There is something unexplained and strange going on in and around Lake Michigan. Unfortunately, at this point, I don't feel like I have enough physical evidence to give any sort of definitive conclusion.
The physical evidence guy, and talking to Phil, talking to Patty, they've had some very strange experiences, but I think this could all just have a natural explanation.
Mike, you could hide an entire city under this water. There's a good possibility that UFOs are coming from the water to do whatever it is they're going to do, contact, abduct people.
What they're doing here, I'm not sure, and what they're up to, I'm not sure. But I think we're going to find out pretty soon.
If allegations of ET home invasions are true, what do aliens want from us? Find out next time on Uncovering Aliens.